as a campaigner, writer, broadcaster, all the things I do in my areas of work, I do spend a lot of my time putting panels together, speaking at universities, reaching out to different audiences, shouting at the street corners with megaphones on various issues from whaling to badgers to foxes. So I probably have a pretty good understanding of where this movement is going at the present time. And I do think in some areas on the diversity debate we're making progress. In others we are not, and I think we really need to focus on those tonight. But let's be positive about where we are making progress. I do think on gender, things are improving. If I look at this audience today, I look at women in this sector, there are stronger female voices today in wildlife conservation, animal welfare than ever before, not just in this country but around the world. We see them on our television screens, we see them leading our wildlife and conservation organisations, we see them on the boards, we see them in the areas of writing and all the areas of biology and science relating to all the key issues that we have to deal with in terms of wildlife and animal welfare. And I think that's something to be welcomed. But it's still a challenge. You know, I've been organising the big Friday night debate at Bird Fair over the last few years with Chris Packer and other people in this audience, and we often have to think hard about making sure we get female voices. And at times it's not been easy with the organisers, to be quite frank. They've been quite happy to have a panel of 6 men and we'll think about a woman at the end and we have to squeeze them in. Well, that's not the case, and that shouldn't be the case. And this year I was really pleased when we had the Friday night debate that we had some really strong women speaking on the panel. From Deborah Meaden, from Dragon's Den, from Izzy Tree, all the issues around rewilding, to Carrie Simmons, the part of the Prime Minister, who's very outspoken on wildlife and animal welfare issues. I think it was a strong representation, and I think throughout the event we had strong voices, strong women voices, but there's more to be done. And it was good to see that women are driving that change in events like that and saying, listen, we want to be part of it. We must be part of it. And I'd be very interested to see what the panel and the audience have to say about that going forward. But if you look at the wider issue of ethnic diversity, we are failing. We are definitely failing. We are getting nowhere near the representation in the population at large in terms of the ethnic diversity of this country, of people from different economic, social backgrounds. Does that matter? Yes, it matters for a number of reasons. Firstly, we're not getting the talent we need in our organisations. We're not getting them at the chief executive and director level. We're not getting them on our boards. We're not getting them in fundraising, marketing and communication capacities. We're not giving them the opportunities that they should have to open their eyes to the wonder of the natural world, but also to bring all their energies and talents into what we have to offer as well. But also we're not reaching out, in my view, as organisations to the increasingly affluent diasporas in the Indian community, for example, in the United Kingdom. Increasingly well educated, increasingly affluent, very well connected to India, going back and forth. And there are numerous charities, Born Free, a good example of one. But there's a lot of work in India, but actually we're not connecting into that community for donors and funders and support. So this issue is very diverse. It's very important that we do that. Also, it's the physical and mental health benefits of the natural world that fascinate me, and I think is so important to society at large. 10 years ago, my partner had cancer therapy, and we spent 6 weeks at the Marsden Hospital just up the road. Coming to this place every few days on a bus was such a pleasure, such a release, just to take in this wonderful environment around us. And I know that had an impact on me, but how many other people get the opportunity? Martin spoke about inner city children. We get them here, but not in the numbers that we need. We don't have enough places like this. There's been 170 teenagers stabbed to death in London and other cities in the last 12 months, and that is continuing to rise. How many of those lives could have been turned around if we gave them access to the natural world? If we give them an opportunity to take an interest in wildlife and nature? The terrible attacks on London Bridge, I think, have made us all think about the consequences of terrorism. Saskia Jones, 23, Jack Merritt, 25. Usman Khan was 27. He spent 10 years of his life in prison from the age of 17. And when he got out, when people were trying to rehabilitate him for some reason, I can't give you an answer why he went back to the violence and the extremism that led to his actions on that terrible day. But again, if I could just think about the opportunities that we got to him at a young age, and others that might be driven into extremism, so that open their eyes to the wonder of nature, to the wonder of wildlife, things could have been very different. Also, when we think about this issue of diversity, we need to think about how we operate as NGOs around the world. There is a certain level of colonialism, I think it's going to come up on this panel, about the way certain charities and NGOs operate. They tend to drop their ideas and their money down and expect the people just to get on with doing what they should do to protect wildlife and habitats, not taking into account the many pressures, the difficulties they face from day-to-day survival. There's been a very good documentary recently made about the vaquita, a very rare porpoise of the Sea of Cortez, Sea of Shadows. If some of you haven't seen it, please take time to watch it. It's a very moving documentary about trying to protect one of the most endangered species in the world. There's probably about 20 vaquita surviving off the Gulf of California, the Sea of Cortez, which is one of the most amazing, abundant marine life areas in the world, but under huge pressure. The film follows the course of organised criminal gangs that are killing the mobota fish to get its swim bladder that's worth over £250,000 to Chinese medicine markets. The meddling cartels that are coming in with their guns and their intimidation to put the local fishermen out of business. The corruption in the police, the gendarmerie, the people that are meant to be protecting the locals who don't and actually take the bribes the criminal cartels bring. The killing, the corruption, and ultimately the loss of these incredible animals. So the most powerful scene for me in that film was that all the effort and money that was put in by the US, the Mexican government, the NGOs came in and set up what they thought was the best way forward to rescue those animals from the water and put them in a confined area. They got one of these vaquita, they actually managed to capture it and put it in a confined marine rescue area, and it died within hours. And the people that were there seeing this happen in front of their eyes obviously were heartbroken. But the question for me watching that film was what was happening to the local fishermen. They felt completely isolated. They felt that no one was listening to them. And I came away with the view that the vaquita can only survive if the local fishermen are part of the solution. The local fishermen who can be the eyes and ears working with Sea Shepherd and others to take the illegal nets away that are capturing them. Make them the guardians of the vaquita and it might have a chance. Ignore them and leave them at the mercy of the cartels and the criminals and they've got no chance at all. This election's coming to an end, ladies and gentlemen. 5 weeks has been long enough for all of us. I think Richard has been campaigning, he knows better than most. You know, one of the saddest things about it from my perspective? Islamophobia and anti-Semitism. Across all the parties. The way it's dominated the debate. The way that no one seems to want to answer the problem. You know what? The nature conservation movement is not immune to this either. We talk about bringing people together. One thing we can't allow is prejudice and racism to drive people apart. You know, I've seen Britain First post images of animals to get people to share their right-wing agenda without even considering it. We have a very valid debate about kosher and halal methods of killing animals, but that shouldn't lead to what is racism against Jews and Muslims from certain individual groups. Maya Rose Craig is a very brave young lady who's pushed the boundaries of this debate and has probably led to me and others to be here. But I've seen some of the pushback she's had on social media. There's a young Muslim girl pushing the boundaries and saying that I want to be a strong advocate for the natural world and I want to see more diversity. There is no room for racism in politics. There is no room for racism in the nature conservation movement. Ultimately, what we're talking about here is equal opportunities. It's a word we hear a lot of, but what does it really mean? You know, I left school at 15 years of age with 3 O-levels. I got where I am today, I'm fortunate because I had the gift of the gab, my mum said. She said I could have been a priest, I could have been a pope by now. But I chose another path. But you know what? I never had a problem. It doesn't matter if I met prime ministers or presidents or done world leaders debates at American political conventions and other places I've been over the years, or write books, do broadcasting. No one ever had a problem with the way I looked or the way I spoke. But if I had lived 10 miles down the road in central Manchester, if I was an Afro-Caribbean background living in an inner city housing estate in a poor comprehensive school, everything could have been different for me. Everything. That was the case in the 80s when I was growing up, but it is the case today, and that should not be happening. Opportunity should not be based on your social and economic background and your skin colour. I have huge respect for Rebecca Thunberg. What an amazing story over the last 12 months. What influence she's brought to the world. What if Greta was from Turkish or North Africa, an Asian background, a poor family in Sweden? What if she wore a headscarf and was standing outside in the cold with her sign? Would she have got the global support and networks behind her? Would she have got the recognition that she gets now? I hope she would. I hope we could be colourblind. I hope we could be blind to her ethnicity. But I'm not convinced we would be. And that's another issue that I want us all to think about tonight. And finally, I'll say this. We celebrate the 50th anniversary of the moon landings this year. I was born exactly a year. 21st July 1970, after Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin stepped on the moon. And remember those grainy images. Some of us in this room might be old enough to remember them. Of planet Earth, the shimmering darkness of space, the beauty that we saw of this planet we all lived on, which gave birth to the modern environment, which is why we're all here today, to a large degree. It was 2.2 billion people living on planet Earth when I was born. There's 7.5 billion now. There'll be 9.5 billion by the time I get to 2050 and I live to the ripe old age of 80. We have to feed more people in the next 50 years than the last 10,000 years combined. We are completely reliant on fossil fuels, which has brought about huge social economic development for us, but has now become a curse because of climate change. We have to change the way we eat, we have to change the way we provide our energy, we have to change the way we produce on this planet, how we clothe ourselves. We need everyone to be part of that solution. We're all in the same boat. Doesn't matter if you're an inner city kid in Manchester, there's someone staring out the window in a schoolroom in inner city London today that has two choices ahead of them. They could end up in a gang, and they could be dead by the time they're 17, or they have a wonderful idea in their head that could change the way we produce power or energy in the next 20 years, that if it was harnessed, could help the planet, could help everything that we're trying to deal with in terms of wildlife and habitat species. So that's the point I want to leave you on. If anything, the nature conservation movement should be that powerful force for bringing everyone together. There should be no barriers, because ultimately we're all in the same boat and it's going down. We've got a big bailing, and we've got to come up with the best ideas we can. And it doesn't matter where you come from, your skin colour, your ethnicity, your gender, if you're disabled or not disabled. Everyone should have full access to opportunity. Everyone should be able to play their part, and that's something that we must all work on. Thank you very much.